Meeting the guys. Jason made a new friend. His name is Daniel. Daniel only has one arm. He lost it in a car accident as a child. Jason really enjoyed Daniel's company. He invited Daniel out with some other friends. Jason was sure the other guys would like Daniel, too. "Meet us at the restaurant," said Jason. Daniel walked into the restaurant. All the other guys stared at him. Daniel got very nervous. "I hope they don't make fun of my arm," he thought. He really wanted to become friends with Jason's buddies. "Wow," said one of the guys. "That's a really nice shirt." Daniel was relieved. He was invited along every week after that. Earthquake. Jim Turner was new to California. He had been living there for 1 year. Jim loved everything about the state. The weather was great. The beaches were beautiful. Jim was planning on staying in California forever. One night, Jim was fast asleep. Suddenly, his bed started shaking. He jumped out of bed. Jim was terrified. This was his first earthquake. Jim had no idea what to do. He froze while everything around him was falling and breaking. The earthquake lasted 15 seconds. To Jim it felt more like an hour. The next morning, Jim started packing his bags. "I've had enough of California," he said. The big fight. Mr. and Mrs. King had a teenage daughter named Michelle. They were always arguing with her. Michelle was a good daughter. However, her parents were very strict. One evening, Michelle wanted to go out. Her parents weren't letting her go. "Your room isn't clean enough," shouted Mrs. King. Michelle decided to sneak out. Her parents did not know where she was going. The next morning, Mrs. King went to Michelle's room. She wanted to apologize for being so hard on her. Michelle was nowhere to be found. Since they did not get to ask where she was going, they did not know where to look. They never saw Michelle again. Speeding ticket. Brian Nelson was late for work. He had been stuck in traffic for half an hour. The cars were finally starting to move. Brian had to make it to work in 10 minutes. If he was late, he would be in big trouble with his boss. "There's no way I'll make it in time," said Brian. Suddenly, a car raced past him. 3 seconds later, another car raced past him. They were going around 80 miles per hour. Brian knew that speeding was the only way he would make it to work on time. He looked around him. There were no cops in sight. He decided to push his speed up to 70. 2 seconds later, he heard sirens behind him. Bad hair day. Angie Walker was going on a date. Her makeup was done. Her outfit was perfect. There was still one big problem. Her hair looked terrible. She had already spent 1 hour brushing it. It still wasn't looking any better. Angie's date was picking her up in half an hour. "I don't know what to do," she screamed to her mother. "Try curling it," suggested her mother. Angie turned on the straightener and wrapped her hair around it. Suddenly, she smelled something nasty. Her hair was burning. As she pulled the straightener away, a big chunk of hair fell off. "This is a sign," cried Angie.